Well, Republican Senator Roger Wicker says President Obama is the reason we don't have a debt deal. He says he's been standing in the way by opposing a workable bipartisan solution. The senator joins us now live to explain why. And we know you're busy with the vote going on, Senator. Thanks for taking a break for us.
Great. I think I'll be able to do this and make the vote also.
All right. We'll keep it short and snappy. You're referring, of course, to a previous agreement that a lot of folks thought was done between key Republicans, Democrats, and the White House. And it didn't stick together, which, gives us pause about whether the one we're hearing about today will also stick together. Why are you, though, pointing the finger at the president for that later deal falling apart?
Oh, my goodness. Those remarks were made 6 days ago. That's an eternity in politics. Let's look on the bright side. One of the president's chief counselors was on the talk shows today, David Plouffe, and he said there was pretty much an agreement and outlined the framework of it. So I think the president is on board this time. I think the last few details about the cuts are being put into place, and it looks like we'll have something that we can talk about in an hour or two.
Do you worry that, as we heard from Speaker John Boehner, his opinion that this president can't take yes for an answer, an apparent reference to possibly that earlier deal that didn't gel? Are you worried that may happen this time around, or do you think we're actually legitimately closer to something happening?
Well, we're closer to something happening because we're closer to August 2nd. So I think people realize the seriousness of this, and nobody wants a default. Nobody wants to go post-deadline without a solution. And so I think the grown-up in all of us is and the practical side of our leadership will come forward.
And how important, Senator, do you think it is that any deal that's crafted be bipartisan, meaning there's been substantial input from both Republicans and Democratic leaders on Capitol Hill?
Well, this is the stark reality of divided government. I will tell you this, as a conservative, this would be a much better deal if we had won 4 more Senate seats in November, but we didn't. There were a lot of close ones, and we weren't able to get a majority in the Senate. So you've got Republicans controlling basically 1/3 of the government, and based on that, I think we've made significant achievements. As Senator Kyl was saying, we don't have a clean debt ceiling anymore. We have budget reductions tied to it. We don't have tax increases in this deal. So we've come a long way. Is it as far as I would have wanted to? No, but it is bipartisan, and it has to be, because the one person on the face of the earth that has to sign this legislation is a fairly left-wing Democrat president, Barack Obama, and if he agrees to sign it, I think he'll probably be able to pull a few of his Democratic friends into the yes column.
Yeah, how much pressure is there on the president at this point to deliver the votes from the Democratic side of the aisle if he appears to be signing off on this deal as it comes together?
I think as a practical matter, if the Democratic president of the United States endorses this and says we need it for the good of the country, it's not everything he wanted, but we have to have it here in this 11th hour. I think he can bring along the votes. Now, I haven't seen the details. I've heard an outline. Senator McConnell had scheduled a meeting for 1:45 this afternoon. That's now been postponed to a later time. I guess that's because the details haven't quite been fleshed out yet. But based on the outlines I've seen, I think the president will probably be able to get enough moderate and center-left Democrats to vote for it, and probably loses his left wing.
All right, Senator Roger Wicker, a Republican out of Mississippi. We know you've got a vote to run to, so thanks for making time for us, sir.
Thank you very much.
All right, many Americans are wondering